Fantastic. So it is week number 3 of 2025. If you can believe it, we have moved through January so incredibly fast. So on that note, if anyone has any shout outs, any gratitude, or any announcements that they want to share, just pop your hand up. We'll get started with that for about 2 minutes, and then we will jump into our topic this morning. So announcements, shout outs, or gratitude, this is your time and this is your floor. Anything coming up or anything you want to share? And if not, I'm going to move on.
I'll share if no one
Tell
else,
us.
Catalina. I'm just going to say, like, we're off to a great start. We've already closed close to, I'm going to say 4 million in sales, which is awesome. We had two big deals, which was great.
Right on.
And then everyone is listing right now, and there are buyers out there under like wanting to buy homes. So I'm really excited about this year. It doesn't, you know, beginning of the year is always a little scary because you start back at zero, but
Yes,
it feels like every one of us is off to a great start. So that's
I
what.
love that. I love that. Congrats, by the way. That's awesome. Fantastic. Well, if your year is off to a great start, awesome news. If it's off to a slower start, I mean, this is a great power up to be on because we're going to talk about what you say or what you need to say in different lead gen levers, right? Not just prospecting, not just open houses, but a myriad of things is what we're going to talk about this morning in order to generate those wins, generate those sales, right? And ultimately generate those referrals. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spotlight Akash, and I'll spotlight myself too so that it's not awkward for you, Akash. So we'll give it just a second, add spotlight. Okay, so for everyone jumping on, um, I love that we have a really good start to the year. A lot of us do. Deldy's team certainly does. Chris Vyers is having a listing appointment for like 875,000 just from canceled listings. There's just a lot of good things happening in our market. And our goal is always to build a consistent, strong business. It's nice to have one good year. Like if you were around in 2020, 2021, 2022, those were good years. I mean, we felt good. We made money. Everybody was, there was an excitement in the year. And now, we have to get consistent because the deals do not fall from the trees anymore. And so having one good year feels good. Having a great career feels even better. And so I wanted to invite Akash to this call because he has had a very consistent 30 to 40 units a year. 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24. Now we're moving into 2025. He's got 6 under contract. And he's got a lot of superpowers, but the superpower that we want to talk about today is exactly what to say. So, Akash, welcome. Good morning. I'm going to start with I'm going to literally, you guys, let me put you my agenda so you can see kind of what we're going to talk about. And then you can see if there's anything I've missed, you just let me know. And we're going to go through here real quick. Okay, so I'm going to go to when you're prospecting. Um, let's say your prospecting expires. What do you say? What does that sound like?
Yeah, so the first question I always ask is, I saw your home came off the market. When are you going to be relisting it? Just fully assuming it is going to be relisted, and then go off of that structure. It's going to be this month, next month. 3 months from now, kind of ask why. Right now, you're here waiting until spring. So it's a pretty simple one to say lots of sellers have taken their properties off actually, and they're going to be waiting until the springtime. But buyers are still out purchasing right now. And in fact, the city of Austin had 12.6% more buyers in December than we did the previous year. So we actually know the buyers are out there right now. So I would love to show you some statistics and just show you how we can help you sell your property before the springtime. Are you free today at 2 or tomorrow at 3? Something like that.
Okay, so show you how to sell your property before the springtime. Have some stats ready of showing that buyers are in fact out there right now. And your first question was, when are you planning to relist?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I like that. When are you planning to relist? Stats for why now is a good time. And what was the third one? I already forgot. See, this is what
Help you sell your property before the
before
springtime.
spring, before everybody else comes back on the market.
Mhm.
Okay, excellent. Any questions on that one, guys? Okay, feels good. What if they're an older expired? Do you ever call older expireds?
Yeah, so it just depends on which year. I tend to avoid the 2022s and the 2021s, but like 2023, absolutely, I will call anyone in 2023, have a conversation with them, and just kind of let them know we do have more buyers. Our list to close year over year is getting closer to 100. So those are statistics that I'll be telling them that we are in a better market than we were in 2023, basically. So there is a great chance for you to sell here before the springtime or during the springtime. Let's get that time structure basically set for you.
Do you have a different intro to like a 2023 expired? What would your intro sound like for something like that?
Well, first I'll ask them if they ever sold the property, and then if
Okay.
they say no, still have it. Okay, when do you plan on selling it? Still assumptive that they will be selling it in the next few years.
Okay, got it. I know you don't work for a sell by owner, so I apologize that I put that on. We'll find somebody else for that. Circle prospecting. What does that look like for you? Like if you were calling, like who do you circle prospect for and what does it sound like?
Yeah, so usually my open houses, so my new listings when I'm gonna host an open house on it, that's my biggest range of circle prospecting that I do. It's always around my listings and my open houses. Always letting them know like, hey, we just sold this property here. We still have buyers. They're actually looking in the neighborhood. Who do you know around you that's wanting to sell? Like I don't ask them if they're wanting to sell. I just more ask who do you know around you that's wanting to sell. And then if they're like, don't really know anyone, and then like, have you ever thought about selling is the next question. I found it better to ask them about anyone else first before asking them, because we'll be able to get one more question out usually that way. And then if they say, I don't know anyone, I'm not thinking about selling, which is pretty common. Well, what real estate plans do you have for yourself? And then they might just say, I don't really have any. Sounds good. Well, curious what real estate investment plans you have. Most people in the world gain a significant amount of wealth through real estate. Do you have any rental properties currently? And then that will open the door for investment conversations. So then that's usually the way that I'll take them, bring them into my pipeline, and then follow up with them.
If you're circle prospecting around an open house, are you just inviting them to an open house or is there anything else that you're doing that adds a little more pizzazz?
On that one, I'm pretty basic, just letting them know like, hey, we have the open house here. Come by, check it out. I always say a lot of neighbors love to see what they've been walking past the past few years. So just come on by, check out the property. We can have a conversation there about the market, what it's looking like for your neighborhood currently as well. And yeah, that's about it for the open houses.
Do you ever call absentee owners?
Yes, it's slowly
What does
going to
that sound
become more of a thing. Yes,
like? Okay.
absentee owners were something where I would say I'm calling all the investors in the areas I represent investors, and currently they're cashing in on their properties and upgrading their investments. When do you plan on selling this one? And then it's usually, maybe soon. I don't want to because my property value is down as it was before. And it's very much so I totally understand that you're not going to be making as much on the sale, but currently when you are purchasing, we can get you into an area that has higher rental rates, get you into an area that you were wanting to purchase last time but couldn't purchase, or just getting you two new builds and cashing in on this one and getting you two new doors after. So have you thought about the leveling up game in investments? A lot of people do that where you cash in on one and purchase two.
What's your intro to that? Like if you, because these are cold people essentially, like they don't live in where they purchase, right? That's why they're absentee. So they don't know who you are. They're like, who is this random number calling me? What does an intro sound like so that everybody can get a vibe for it?
Yeah, it's very so. Hey, this is Akash from Keller Williams. I represent some investors in the area that have been thinking about selling basically that script. I'm more a volume guy when it comes to calls. So yes, there'll be a lot of hangups, but they're like, if I pump out 500 of those dials, I'll probably get 10 to 15 people who are actually talking to me. I really don't waste a lot of time on people that I don't get responses from. I will just go forward, basically.
Heard that. Okay. What about if, let's say you had a good conversation, and you didn't set the appointment, like, what does follow-up look like for you? For any kind of prospecting based thing that you want to jump into?
Yeah, so follow-up is pretty similar for them. All of them usually have a property on it, so market reports are going to be something that's crucial. And then viewing, of course, if they're viewing your market reports, following up with them like, hey, did you see that closing? So making sure you're looking at the market report before they see it. If there's one that's lower, one that's high, I usually highlight those ones. Like, it's crazy that that one closed so far under in that neighborhood, or that one closed so super high up in that neighborhood. And then the team giveaways are a great way where I gauge exactly where they are, because one of the questions are, what are your plans? So if they're consistently saying nothing, I'm not a person that will continuously hound them. I will wait for, the market reports, and also wait for our team giveaways to do its job when they'll notify me when they're more closer to it, and then that's when I'll roll out the listing plan. Because I found like it all falls into place eventually, just as long as you're continuously following up with them.
Okay, so you use the market report and like what's on market reports to have a conversation, or you're looking for buying or selling signals based on them
Mhm.
opening market reports. And then the team giveaways, like for anybody who does a team giveaway, it's just a monthly giveaway. Let's say that you're giving away, or the team is giving away, I don't know, $100 of Amazon gift card, right? And essentially you're just using that as like, that's our team giveaway for the month. Would love to enter you. And then the jot form just says, do you have any plans of selling, buying, or investing, or nesting? And it's just like ask the question for you essentially, right?
Yes.
Okay, any last questions just on the prospecting side before I go on to the open house side? Speak now or forever hold everything inside your heart. Okay, I'm going to jump into open houses. So you're at the open house. What does that sound like?
Yeah, so I more do education and market statistics at my open houses, than I would say doing like LP Mama or anything like that. I really much so just gauge into, how long. I will ask them how long they've been looking, because you have to make them feel good about their decision. If they say it's a short time, it's like, oh man, what an amazing time for y'all to hop in. You've missed a lot of what's happened. Congratulations, but you're stepping in a fantastic time. For the people like I've been looking for 2, 3 years, it's like, oh, well, you've been through it. So at least now you're here on this side where, again, everything is looking so much better than it was before. Prices are looking better for you too, right? Do you remember 2, 3 years ago? So like those are the things that I'll drive in into the open house just to get them feeling good about the decision that they're doing. And then really go into like what mostly like financing questions. What type of loan are y'all kind of thinking about using? Oh, I'm thinking about doing a conventional at 5% down. I'm like, oh, like a lot of my buyers who are in that situation may actually do FHA, because at 3.5% down, I can get you 6% of seller contributions, versus conventional, you can only get 2% with 5% down. I impress them. Like, that is my goal in that open house, is to be like, wow, that guy knows his stuff in there. Like he is talking, like he knows what he's doing, so that the follow-up is a lot easier. If you're kind of walking around the open house, in my opinion, just asking them questions about what they're looking for, what they love about the house, things like that, like there's a lower chance that they're going to really remember who you are, because most of the other agents are doing that in other open houses. So it's for me just way more talking about the statistics as well. Like, hey, like, as the city right now, we were at, I think 93% list to close. So what's that telling y'all? There's still negotiation power in here for you. So, whatever you want to kind of talk about this property, we can see if we can get that done for it. Or if it's not this one, we can have a conversation basically about what it's going to look like for the rest of them.
So you're setting yourself up as a market expert versus an open house host.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, noted. I mean, I can see why conversion would be higher. Uh,
Yeah.
okay, you wrap up the open house. Like, what happens next? Do you like forget about them? Do you like reach out to them like the following week? Like, what is that? What does an initial follow-up look like?
Yeah, I'll give them a call, and I'll usually say something like, listen, I know I just said so many statistics to y'all, so you're probably a little overwhelmed, but I just want to let y'all know that we still need to actually talk about the process of buying. Like we just fully went over like some of the numbers that are happening right now. But I have availability here this evening. Let's get together. We'll go through the process, and it's important that we go through the process so that when you're looking at houses, you can just focus on looking at houses, not having to worry about, oh, what's the next steps? How do I even do any of this? You will already know all of that so that you can just be looking at the houses and figuring out which one you specifically love. So again, I'm here in the like neighborhood until 6 p.m. Or when are you going to be in the neighborhood next? I will be here and we can link up.
Got it. Do you ever do them on Zoom or do you always do them in person?
Very much so on Zoom is if they say, no, I don't want to meet up, I always pitch in Zoom. I've been doing a lot of Zoom meets recently and they have been pretty successful. So if they're not willing to meet in person, I just say, okay, when's the best time for you? When will you be home? I will be on like Zoom or Google Meet and we will hop on.
Okay, I love it. How long are those, by the way?
About 45 minutes usually each time.
Okay, excellent. I have a private question that came in, and the question is, how are you getting your statistics, list prices, sales price, that sort of thing?
I mean, so for us on Unlock MLS, it's one of the options now that we've been given. I think I can't remember the name of it right now, but I think it's like Unlock MLS Stats or something like that. So there's a bunch of reports in there. You can go by city, by zip code, everything like that. When I'm calling every Monday, I basically have one of the slides that Adelina has on our team meeting, which goes basically through all of that. So I just have that when I'm dialing. But all of the statistics I get, from either Adelina or the MLS.
Very good. I love that. What about, they didn't respond to you when you reached out to them again? You thought you had good rapport with them or whatever, and then like nothing happened. Do you have a follow-up for long-term follow-up for folks that you met at open houses?
Yes, I do. And it's more looking at what closes in that neighborhood they were looking in. I'll give them a call because I love looking at credits and I tell my buyers about a lot of these credits that are being given. So I'll go find one in there that closed, pretty recently. See, there's a $15,000 credit. Give them a call and be like, hey, did you see that one? Do y'all remember looking at it? Did you like it? Well, they gave a 15K credit. There was a chance we could have gotten more. So like just kind of getting them back into that, knowing what sellers are giving right now, I feel like makes buyers more believable that they want to do this. When they're seeing sellers give out $10,000, $15,000 credits, that's just what I show them. And I'll be like, listen, it's being given. There's a chance that I possibly could negotiate even more. So that's where, why not just give it a chance right now and we can go see what y'all like.
I like that. I'm going to switch gears to your sphere, past clients, that sort of thing. Everybody's favorite subject, of course. There's sphere that we see like often in our life and we connect with. And then there's sphere that we do not. They're rarely ever people we talk to. So people you see often, what is there a touch plan? Is there any kind of like methodology that you use, or is it just up to chance for people that you know?
So I mean, I would say my close sphere and the people that I talk to on a monthly basis in my sphere, they know who I am. They usually see me as well frequently, or they see me enough, where I talk about my job. I let them know what I'm doing, where I am in my career, as I feel like most people should share with their sphere, like, hey, this is where I am. Where are y'all in your life? Kind of relate that way. And let them know some of the stories that I go through. Like I'll tell them some of the really complicated stuff that I have to go through just so that they remember that I can handle very complicated issues. I won't tell them the easy layups. I'll fully just be like, hey, these were the hard ones. And so that they know like, hey, whenever it's coming to real estate, Akash already handled something like this. Let's easily go with Akash basically. And then for my sphere that I do not see as much. That is something, again, I do rely way more on the team with that, with the mail outs. That is something where in my business, I do need to become better with because I do need to get more referrals from my past client database and my sphere that way. But it is something where everyone does see my real estate career on social media. That is in my extended sphere. My investors and everything like that, I still do a quarterly investor email that I'll send out with them with different investments in the area so that I'm always on top of mind every quarter. So those are the things that I usually do for the bigger sphere.
What's an example of a mail out that you have done or something recent?
Yeah, so I mean, for us, luckily, it's just having to submit a drop form, and then we get the envelopes that we'll just basically fill out the cards for each client that we want to send it out to. I'm not gonna lie, I just hand it off to Mary, and then everything else is taken care of. But there's usually a gift card put in it, and it's mailed out to our clients. We even have like pop-bys where you can get something to stop by and actually personally drop off. I'm not as comfortable with that, so that's something where I just do way more mail outs to my past clients and my sphere, so they can always remember that.
Mary, will you pop the drop form in just so everybody can kind of see like what like that might look like, just so it's easy for them. I'm gonna go to the next one just for the sake
Yeah.
of time, if that's okay. Incoming leads. Let's talk about sign calls. So
Yes.
somebody calls in on one of your listings. What does that pitch look like?
I'll be there in 30 minutes. Can you wait? That is like definitely one of the
Okay.
biggest things is you
Okay.
have to get out there. You have the highest conversion. They're standing in front of your sign. I don't know what you're doing, but like drop it and go there. If that is something that you can do, amazing. Otherwise, I will say, when are you driving by there tomorrow? I will be there basically because there's a good chance they're driving right by it again. They'll be like, okay, it's after work or something like that. So that's where I will always try to meet them on their schedule at my listing every single time.
Okay, wow. So we're getting that face to face. Like that's your like secret power. Love
Yes, absolutely.
that. Okay, yeah, will you be there in 30 minutes? What about like text leads, like a quickly text lead? If that text lead comes in when you make that call or you send that text, what does that sound like?
Pretty similar. If they're right there, I'll call them right away and say, like, are you going to be there for 30 to 40 minutes? I will be there. And then same thing. I very much so try to do a buyer's consultation when I meet them over there. If my listing does not hit their parameter, so of course I will pitch my listing every single time. But if as soon as we're done looking at it and they're like, I don't think this one's the one for me, amazing. I'll slide right into the buyer's consultation and be like, okay, we're going to chat about what it's going to look like for y'all for buyers.
And if it's not vacant, obviously, then your pitch is when will you drive by tomorrow? And then you try
Yes,
to
and
that way.
yes, schedule the showing. And luckily, usually like I'll have a vacant one nearby. So if it's something, I'll be like, okay, we can just meet at one of the other vacant ones that I have just a little bit away.
What about an incoming lead, like a Brivity lead, right?
Mhm.
These people probably clicked something. They may or may not remember that they clicked on it. They may or may not lie that they clicked on it. All the fun stuff. What does that sound like? What does your pitch sound like to them?
For brevity leads, it is just personal and client wins is how I kind of view it as fishing. Like you really need to get them hooked. Like otherwise, they're really not going to care or talk to you. You're just going to be the person that sends them properties. So it's something where I'll share team wins with them when I call. I ask them, "Are you looking here in this area?" Yes. Okay, it's been a great time to buy. My team have been able to help honestly close to hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of seller credits and price reductions this past year. What's more important to you, a cheaper monthly payment or paying less for your property? So just asking those questions and then be like, amazing. So it's a great time where we can negotiate $15,000 to $20,000 from a seller to buy your rate down currently and buy it down permanently. And that goes a long way. So just having those conversations initially right away, just so that they know that you know what you're talking about. Again, I feel like there is a lot better chance that they'll pick up the phone when you're calling if you kind of just give them information off the get-go about what's going on in our current market.
So your pitch to them is every answer that they give, you've got a hook for it. You've got like a team stat or you've got a success story that's the hook. Um, okay, I got it. What about if they don't answer? Like, do you like never call them again or like do you trash them? Like what happens?
So I think I will dial a lot of times. Honestly, it's probably close to 15 or 20 before I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm done. And I'll leave a lot of voicemails as well. I would say at least 5 to 6. And then I will eventually, I don't put them in a palm, but I'll put them just in inactive so that, again, all of the inactive leads in my database get team giveaways. So that's where no matter what, I know if they're going to be reinterested when they select buying as one of the options.
Fantastic. I'm gonna switch gears. Earning compensation. I'm gonna talk about buyers for a second. When that comes up, or how does it come up, or how do you pitch that part of the world to them?
Yes, in an industry that's changing because of the way that people incorrectly talking about this. Buyer's agent commission has always been on the buyers. In our current market, I'm having great success with negotiating my fee to be paid for by the seller as part of an incentive to help sell their property. I charge 3% as my fee as I'm a top agent on a top team. If a property is not offering the full 3% compensation, the remaining balance will be included in your closing costs. Sounds good. And then that's how I'll
The
leave it.
remaining balance will be included in your closing cost.
Yes.
That is as simple as it gets. My fee is X% because I'm a top agent that gets top results. I'm in a top team and a top brokerage. If the seller is not offering X%, that the remaining becomes part of your closing cost.
Yes.
I like it. Okay, let's switch to sellers then. Sellers, how do you pitch your fee, the fee that you want? What does that look like, sound like?
Yes, so I will fully say my listing fee is 3%. It's always been the case this way. So when you are wanting to choose what you want to offer a buyer's agent, that's always been up to you. In the current market, what we are seeing is a lot of sellers are choosing to offer anywhere from 2.5 to 3% for commission. It is your call on what you would like to offer. I will definitely say currently in a market where a lot of buyers are going to be looking for incentives because most buyers right now, as we went over, are getting deals 91% list to close, 92%, 93%. We've gone over all the credits also that have been given in your neighborhood. So as all of that is happening, we can basically see that they're most likely going to be offering a buyer's agent incentive on the other end as well. So it's up to you on how much you'd like to pay. Just know that if you do not pay the 3% or 2.5% for the buyer's agent when they ask for the offer, it will be put to the buyer on their closing costs as well. So it'll be an additional fee on them. So if this was 2020, 2021, I would say we'd have a great chance of slapping 0 on there, and it doesn't matter because people were paying over list price, so they would just be paying their agent. Right now in a market where people are paying under list price with seller incentives, usually the buyer's agent commission is topped on that as well. So if you want top dollar for your property, I would suggest the range of 2.5 to 3%, but let me know what you would like to do.
So your listing fee is non-negotiable.
Mhm.
Buyer's fee, you educate them on.
Yes.
Excellent. I'm with it. Price adjustment. I just want to go through two as we wrap up here. When you're at the listing appointment and you preset the expectation for price adjustments, what does that sound like?
Yes, so I'm suggesting us to go over here so that we have a good plan of getting under contract within the 45 days that your neighborhood is showing. If you are wanting to list it at this area, I do want a written agreement that if we don't have any traffic in 2 weeks, that we will be coming down to my suggested price. As you can see right now, even coming at this price, there's probably going to be additional incentives that may need to be given. So it is something where just be ready for it. We are not in a market anymore that you are getting 102 to 105%. As we saw, you're getting anywhere from 93 to 94, 95% list to close. So that's what we can anticipate. So yeah, that's kind of where I'll go for it. If they're wanting to go higher, as long as it's not significantly higher, I'll let them go for 2 weeks and we're coming down to my price, but it'll be in the listing agreement specifically stating that.
What if you forgot, or what if you missed the mark, or what if you're newer and you did not have that preemptive conversation in the listing appointment and now you have an unsellable listing? What does that conversation sound like? And has that ever happened to you? Or is everything just
Yes.
amazing for you?
No, that is a lesson from 2023, trust me. So it is it has definitely something that it's having the awkward conversations, but if you have a reasonable seller, right? Everyone wishes for that. That's the easiest. You have that conversation, show them the statistics, being like, listen, we have not had any showings for 2 weeks, 1 week, 0 people have reached out. We are dead in the water. We need to do something to get into the range that the buyer view this property is valuable for them. And then if it is an unreasonable seller, I will take them to walk the properties in the neighborhood and be like, this one is $25,000 less. Are you sure that you would see a buyer walking into your property and offering what you're asking when this is currently on the market as well? Take them out to look at it because it is really that high have found the power more than anything. And then showing them, of course, detailed photos, showing them the seller credits because they'll see the price and be like, okay, well, they closed at $550. They gave a $30,000 credit that you did not see. So here is that so that you can see that. Those are important. And if you're showing this to them weekly or every 2 weeks, that conversation is so easy because it's
Okay.
expected.
Devil's advocate, Akash, I mean, you just need to work harder. You said you were the best team. You said you were a really top agent, and I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah, and I definitely understand that. I am, as I've said, a messenger of the market. I'm here to market your property the best to our ability to bring buyers into your door. Unfortunately, the price is what's not allowing the buyers to walk into your door. So what we have to do is bring it down into a range where there are more eyes on it and more people actually walking in. Our marketing has done a job. In the first 2 weeks, you had the most views out of any other weeks out there. So it shows that we did our best the first 2 weeks. Now we have to adjust the price to bring it down to what buyers want to pay for it.
So Akash and I didn't practice any of this. Literally, I was just like, hey, after Chris Colgan did the LP Mama script last week, I got a bunch of requests for like, I want to hear what people are saying that are top agents. And people gave me a few names, and Akash was easy because I could see him in the office. I could Slack him real quick. And he sells 30 to 40 a year in a very competitive market. And when I said, hey, you're not doing your job, hey, you're not like you said you were a top agent, he didn't even sweat it, right? And that's why going to scripting is important, right? That is why, like, the better you become at these conversations, right? Like, take the word script out because it's got such a negative connotation to a lot of people. You've got to be a master of communication, right? Because like when he brought it back to me and said, yeah, absolutely, we absolutely did everything that we could, and yet what's preventing your sale is the price, right? So love that. I really appreciate your time this morning. I love how like chill you are. My goodness. Like I think outside of like, the conversation piece, I think what I want everyone to get out of this is, yes, there are agents out there who you'll see on social media and people who just have these massive big personalities, and good for them, and we love them too. But I want you to understand that whatever your personality type is, whoever you are, whatever your background, whatever your goals, like all of that is 100%, 200% within reach. So Akash, appreciate you. Keep going.
Thank
What are
you.
your goals this year? Just wrap us up with that. What
My goals?
Yeah.
40, I think it's 45 closings for the year. And yes, 3 of the way done, 3 still pending and hoping to get more.
Okay. So you're 6 out of 45. Good luck.
Yeah. Thank
All
you.
right. All right, guys, we will see you next week. Really appreciate you guys. Yes, this recording will be, what I'll do is I will, 2 things. This recording is sent out via like a email that just said like deliverable for this power up. And number 2, in the calendar invite, if you look down at the bottom, there's links there and it says recordings of Texas power ups, and you just click that and you can find any power up you've ever wanted. So appreciate you guys. Have a good rest of your week. Those of you who have call night tonight, good luck with that. Have a good one. And we will see you guys later. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.